Tonight, a team at SUNY Oswego places in a research competition. We get down to what preparation the team did to earn this rank.
And Governor Cuomo announces a state record, how Central New York played a role in making this happen.
And a tornado in Alabama kills at least 23 people. More on what we learned about the victims.
WTOP 10 Nightly News starts now.
Good evening, and welcome to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm Curtis Cady.
And I'm Adrienne Shelton.
We're learning more about the victims of the powerful tornadoes that hit Lee County. This Sunday, at least 23 people died. Adding to the heartbreak, at least 3 of them were children. 2 of them were 9 and 10 years old.
The youngest was 6 years old. His name was Armando Hernandez. One of his aunts shared these photos of the boy, who went by AJ. Another aunt posted about their loss on social media. She wrote, "He was always eager to give hugs and loved his family, and it will be a rough road, but we still keep our faith and trust in God." She also stated the family lost their home and all of their belongings.
150 hours of work have paid off for the SUNY Oswego CFA Research Challenge team. The team took second overall in the annual Western New York Chartered Financial Analyst Institute Research Challenge. Over the course of several months, the team performed intensive research, prepared a research paper, created the presentation, and practiced it to ensure the best delivery of their gathered facts. The team won a $500 prize and a trophy, but moreover gained valuable experience and connected with one another.
The Quest celebration at SUNY Oswego will kick off this year at the Syracuse campus. On April 2nd and 3rd, students and faculty will get together to view projects created by students, faculty, and staff engaged in scholarly and creative activities. Dean of Graduate Studies and Director of Quest, Kristen Eichhorn, is set to host the event. She says the April 2nd kickoff comes from an intentional effort to incorporate Syracuse campus students into our celebration. The 39th Quest Symposium is free and open to the public. WTOP 10 will also have live Quest coverage on April 3rd.
Tonight, we're joined with the reporter, Tomas Rodriguez. Tomas, I hear you intended an improv show on campus?
Yes, Curtis, that is right. They perform every Saturday night here at the Marano Campus Center Auditorium. From what I learned, they are looking for students to join, whether if it is in the audience or in the show. SUNY Oswego's improvised comedy club, the Sean Cassidy Fan Club, hosts weekly shows every Saturday night at the Marano Campus Center Auditorium at 8 p.m. Kayla Bonacera is the club president.
Well, every Saturday night we do live improv comedy performances where we have sketch-based comedy that revolves around the suggestions that we take from our audience.
In the darkness of this room, not only the bracelets glow, but some of the worst humor also comes to surface, which is why they must censor some parts of the show.
It does get crazy. During the Parents Weekend show, we censor it. We actually allow one swear word, and I use that by accident, but we also do the Radio for Life.
But not only the local students and parents come to the shows. One example is Spanish exchange student Andrea Rodriguez.
The most exciting thing about this performance, like they all act natural and you see like they really enjoy it, and this looks like familiar.
So if you're looking for something fun to do on the weekends, the troupe practices every Sunday night and performs the skits on Saturdays.
If you don't have any plans on your weekends, this is definitely a club you should look at. Back to you guys.
Mayor Billy Barlow announces a special tax exemption for the low-income senior citizens. The exemption has not been changed since 1996. Barlow says with an increase in inflation and cost of living has triggered the adjustment. This included raising the income threshold for those who qualify. This number has jumped from $25,000 to $30,500.
Governor Cuomo announced a record attendance from the New York State Fair. Last year's attendance soared at over 1.2 million visitors, which is 18% higher than the previous year. The press release says this growth coincides with the state's investment of more than $120 million since 2015 to modernize and revitalize the Syracuse area fairgrounds. This was part of the CNY Rising strategy to boost the entire central New York economy.
A proposal by Democratic lawmakers to expand New York State's safe storage law will propose to cover homes with children. Syracuse.com reports in order to comply, gun owners would need to have a locking device for their firearms or store them in locked containers. If this law passes, homes with children under 16 will be covered, and violating this may result in a misdemeanor.
30-year-old Anthony Scott of Oswego County was arrested with 4 counts of animal cruelty charges. New York State troopers responded to a home late February for an animal abuse call. 3 dogs were found alive and 1 dead. CNYCentral.com reports Scott was unable to financially take care of the dogs and take them to the vet. The remaining 3 dogs were turned over to paws across Oswego County. Scott is scheduled to appear in the town of Albion Court on April 1st.
Coming up, and now we're going to take a quick look at the weather with our chief meteorologist, Alex Bielfield. What do you have for us, Alex?
Thanks, Curtis. Right now, though, it is feeling a bit brisk out there. We have winds gusting from the west-southwest right now at 23 miles an hour. In Oswego, around the rest of the region, you can see 15 to 25 miles an hour. And what that's doing is helping us feel a lot colder than it actually is right now. Oswego, we're at 1 degree, but look at that in Central Square and in Cleveland. We're in the negatives, but that's not the biggest story of the night right now. We do have some snow that is moving in. You can see it just past Watertown is diving south. We're going to have more on that coming up after the break, including how much more snow you can see. You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News.
You don't have to wear a uniform for service or sacrifice. Every day, ordinary Americans perform extraordinary acts of courage and selfless service. Please join us in recognizing citizen heroes who have made a difference in the lives of others through their acts of courage and selfless service in communities across America. Nominate a citizen hero today at themedalofhonor.com.
Welcome back from the break, everyone. I'm your Storm Team 10 Chief Meteorologist, Alexander Bielfeld. And we did see some snow earlier today, but we are going to see some more snow later on tonight and through the rest of the week. Look behind me right now. You can see our satellite radar shows a snow band that is moving inland in just past Watertown, is beginning to dive south towards Oswego. But as we zoom out, we can see that right off to the west of the lake, we can see this band setting up right now. And that is the band that's going to bring us some snow later on tonight and into tomorrow. I'm going to have time that out for you in just a sec. But because of that snow, we do have some winter weather advisories in effect for Oswego and Cayuga counties, but in effect till tomorrow morning, and then as well as Jefferson and Lewis in effect until Wednesday morning. But we also have a winter storm watch that is in effect, and that goes into effect after our winter weather advisory expires tomorrow, and that's going to last until Thursday morning, as well as we also have one for Madison and Onondaga, which goes into effect tomorrow as late night and in through Thursday morning as well. Right now, currently, though, we do have temperatures in the teens, 17 in Oswego, 16 in Fairhaven, 13 in Phoenix. We're in the teens, but it feels a lot colder out there with the wind gusting at 15 to 25 miles an hour. You can see that. Look, 8 degrees. It feels like 8 degrees in Fairhaven. Oswego, we just dropped to feeling like 0 degrees down in Central Square, and in Cleveland, we're in the negatives. But let's time out that snow that I was talking about earlier. So later tonight, you can see that band begins to make its way into Oswego. Temperatures are in the teens as well. For our morning commute tomorrow, that band will lift, but the roads will still be slippery as our crews continue to plow the hardest hit areas overnight tonight. But that snow moves in again tomorrow afternoon. Temperatures in the teens, so we're not warming up that much at all. And another band looks to get going Tuesday night, and that's going to continue into Wednesday. Looks to be just south of Oswego itself, but we are going to watch, as we can see, a lot of snow accumulation coming out of that, and that's going to last until Wednesday evening, so watch out for the evening commute on Wednesday as well. Now, how much snow could we be expecting? Look at that, 12 to 18 in the pink, just south of Oswego. In Oswego, though, we could be seeing 8 to 12, and in the purple, we could see 4 to 8. But now, here's the rest of your 7 days. You can see Tuesday and Wednesday, we have that snow, but look at that. Wednesday, we're only going to get up to a high of 17, and we're going to dip into the single digits as a low. Thursday, we begin to get a break. Friday and Saturday, the sun will come out. We begin to warm up above freezing. Sunday looks to be a mess. And Monday, we're going to start the week quiet. Coming up after the break, we have more news and sports. You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with an SPF of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. Remember, SPF plus broad spectrum equal healthy fun in the sun. Visit www.fda.gov/sunscreen for more information. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
I'm a lot more confident and a lot more sure of my abilities. At Oswego is where I really found myself and became the person I am. You work hard and you play hard. I love the environment of SUNY Oswego.
David Richey. I mean, they were. Do you think Bryce Harvey, Tommy John survivor, Nathan Evaldi?
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. Attorney generals from over 20 states are challenging the Trump administration's new gag rule. The rule alters the Title X family planning program and funds relating to contraception, cancer screenings, exams, and other health-related services. The coalition announced a lawsuit calling the constitutionality of the rule into question will be filed tomorrow. New York Attorney General Letitia James, a proponent of the lawsuit, says these rules are antithetical to the purpose of Title X and will hurt millions of Americans.
In Maryland, lawmakers are considering a bill that would be a game changer for child sex abuse cases. John Gonzalez explains what this bill would mean for victims and what happens next.
This could be an unprecedented, historic move for Maryland and could affect all courthouses, including the Circuit Courthouse here in Montgomery County in Rockville. Maryland's House of Delegates is considering eliminating the statute of limitations on child sex abuse cases. The bill is sponsored by Delegate C.T. Wilson, who represents Charles County and who was himself a victim of child sex abuse at the hands of his adopted father. The bill comes on the heels of the recent summit at the Vatican on child sex abuse. This only applies to civil cases, not criminal ones. Current Maryland law states that a victim of child sex abuse has until the age of 38 to file a civil lawsuit, and if the victim is over the age of 25, they have to first prove gross negligence.
I don't think it's appropriate to do away with statute of limitations. I think they're important because people's memories fade. There's a prejudice to the defendant in the case usually, and I don't think it's appropriate. I know C.T. Wilson very well. He's a stand-up guy, really a good legislator, and I'm sure his heart is in the right place, but I think in this case, statute of limitations is appropriate.
The committee up in Annapolis has not set a date on when to vote on this bill, but as of today, the delegate has no opposition. In Rockville, Maryland, John Gonzalez, ABC 7 News.
Even though the bill only applies to civil claims and not criminal cases, the legislation could end up having an impact on criminal prosecutions as well.
A 90s heartthrob is dead at 52. Actor Luke Perry suffered a stroke last week and died on Monday. According to a statement by his publicist, Perry was surrounded by his family when he passed away. Perry portrayed Dylan McKay on Beverly Hills 90210 during the 90s. At the time of his death, he starred in the CW series Riverdale.
Christopher Wayne Madison of Alabama is being charged with capital murder in relation to the death of 11-year-old Amberly Barnett. According to DeKalb County Police, Barnett was found 200 yards from Madison's home. She was last seen Friday at her aunt's house around 6 p.m. Her body was discovered the following morning. The cause of death was ruled as strangulation. The investigation is still ongoing.
2 dogs are adjusting to a new home, albeit a temporary one. They are in emergency foster care after being abandoned inside a Michigan pet store. It's a story making waves online, and as Allie Hoxie reports, rescue workers hope all the attention will help them find forever homes.
We don't know anything about the dogs.
All Poet Rescue knows is what was posted on Facebook. A woman who says she was at Petco in Allen Park last night writes a couple brought them into the store with leashes tied around their necks.
Someone who worked there said those dogs need to have collars on. And then the next thing they knew, the dogs were left in the bathroom, alone, crying.
When Lauren Boson and others working with Poet Rescue saw the post, they stepped in.
This is Marigold. Oh, and this is Daffodil.
Now they have new names. They believe Marigold is between 10 or 12 and that Daffodil is 7 or 8. They also believe Marigold could be Daffodil's mother, but there's no way of knowing for sure.
They also look like they've been bred multiple times just by the condition of how they look.
Marigold and Daffodil are currently in emergency foster care and up for adoption.
And they do appear bonded, so we would like them to be kept together.
Poet Animal Rescue is taking donations to help with medical expenses for Marigold and Daffodil. On its Facebook page, the animal shelter says a vet will evaluate the dogs once the legal stray hold is up. By state law, shelters are required to hold a stray dog up to 7 days and try to contact the owner depending on the situation.
Philippine police have seized more than 1,500 live turtles found in unclaimed luggage at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport on Sunday. The reptiles were wrapped in duct tape and stored in 4 different pieces of luggage. Police believe the bags were abandoned after the carrier realized the harsh consequences for illegal wildlife trafficking. If caught, they could face 2 years in jail and a fine up to 200,000 pesos. They could have sold for more than 4.5 million pesos or over 86,000 US dollars. The animals have been handed over to the Wildlife Traffic Monitoring Unit.
The president of Algeria, Abdelaziz Bouteflika, announced his plan to run for a 5th term. Massive protests against his leadership broke out in the country, and the announcement is likely to spark more protests. The 86-year-old president, who suffered a stroke in 2013, is believed to be incapacitated. Many of the activists have been calling for the elections to be canceled altogether and a more drastic change of the country's government. Coming up at sports, Brian Rudman. Brian,
can you give us a quick preview?
Absolutely. Coming up after the break, I'll break down a big weekend in Oswego State sports as it is playoff time for the men's hockey and men's basketball teams. And I'll be catching you up to date on the Oswego State baseball team, as well as bringing you up to speed on some Knicks actions from this weekend. All this coming up after the break. You're watching WTOP 10 Nightly News. We'll be right back.
What would happen if I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors? What would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be.
There is no typical firefighter.
Hey guys, when we're not doing The Real Deal, what do you like to do in your free time?
Well, I like to watch WTOP 10 movies on demand.
Yeah, me too. You know, they have such a wide variety of films that anybody on campus can watch.
And it's free.
And it's free.
How do I get to this movies on demand?
Well, all you have to do is go to WTOP10.com and click the Movies on Demand tab.
Hey, let's go watch one right now to review on our next show.
Welcome back to WTOP 10 Nightly News. I'm your sports anchor, Brian Rudman. We've got a lot to cover, so let's get right into it. Starting in the NBA, as the New York Knicks kicked off a 3-game West Coast road trip as they visited the Staples Center to face off with the Clippers. The Knicks' season struggles continued as they fell 128-107. The Knicks had a strong second half, but it wasn't enough to make up for the 82-46 halftime deficit. The Clippers were led by Landry Shamet, who had 21 points, all of which came from behind the arc. Moving to the ice now, this past Saturday, the Oswego State men's hockey team traveled to Geneseo to face off with the Ice Knights for the SUNYAC Championship. The Lakers fell to the Knights 4-3 in a back-and-forth affair. The Lakers got contributions from Jody Sullivan, Josh Zyzek, and Travis Broman, all who tallied scores before Geneseo's Mitch Ferguson netted the game winner. Despite the loss, the Lakers' season is not over as they will play in the NCAA Division III hockey tournament after securing an at-large bid earlier today. Moving now to the Diamond as the Oswego State baseball team tallied their first win of the season on the road against Wesley with a 22-4 win. Oswego took control of this one early as they put up 10 runs in the first and another 7 in the second. After allowing 2 runs in both the third and fourth inning, the Lakers held Wesley to no runs the rest of the game. The Lakers are now 1-2 on the season and will be back in action this Friday. Moving now to basketball as the Oswego State Lakers hosted the first 2 rounds of the NCAA Division III tournament. Oswego hosting Baldwin Wallace in the second round. We'll get it started off early as it's Liam Sanborn finding his way into the lane, hitting the layup, putting Oswego up early. And now we'll move later in the first as it's going to be Brandon Gartland now with the ball, moving around, trying to find some space, and he will, putting up the three and draining it, trying to extend that Lakers lead before the half. We'll now move to the second half as it's the big man Tyler Pierre putting in work down low, getting his own rebound, putting up the and one, trying to extend that Lakers lead in the second half. That team is pumped right now. Moving later into the half, it's Brandon Gartland again for three, trying to extend that lead to 6 right there, but it wouldn't be enough as now we're tied in overtime, 70-70 with 30 seconds left. It's Liam Sanborn yet again putting up the layup, putting it in, and that's all the Lakers would need to get the win as they win 75-71, moving on to the Sweet 16 where they'll face off against Marietta on Friday. We had a chance to hear what Coach Jason Leone had to say on moving on in the tournament.
Well, first off, very happy to be moving forward. We beat two quality opponents this past weekend. To enjoy the success of heading to the Sweet 16 for the second time in 4 years is quite an accomplishment for our program. We're very humbled, but still, as these guys mentioned on Saturday, still a lot of work left to do.
And that Lakers' great season will continue as they are SUNYAC champs and they stay alive in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, so a lot of great things for the Lakers basketball team, but what can you tell us about hockey?
Well, this team's been really good, really resilient, and they fell to the number 2 team in the nation on Saturday, so they put up a good fight on the road, and it'll be interesting. They've shown that they can hang with pretty much any team in the nation. It should be an interesting run for them.
Yeah, and that's big to hear considering they made the playoff tournament, the NCAA playoff tournament.
Yeah, well, there are only 4 at-large bids, so for the Lakers to get one without that SUNYAC automatic bid, it's a big deal. It shows that they are one of the best teams in the nation, and especially because they're getting a bye, too. From the first round, it should be interesting to see how they do.
Yeah, that's right.
Go Lakers.
So what do you have for us for weather, Alex?
Well, it's a busy night ahead of us. We can look at the satellite radar right now. We can see that snow band is beginning to dip on south. We can see snow totals close to a foot here in Oswego. Just to the south, we can see 12 to 18, even higher. Now, keep in mind that is through Wednesday evening, and this is not a just overnight affairs. We do have 2 rounds of snow coming in, one tonight, and then one enters the region tomorrow afternoon and through Wednesday. So we're going to be busy weather-wise. You're going to have to keep an eye on the roads as they will be slippery.
Man, it just seems like winter never ends around here. But
no,
it does not stop snowing.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, well, that'll do it for tonight for us here at WTOP 10.
Thank you guys for watching and have a great night.
The second I got on the campus, I knew Oswego was the place to go.
There's a place for everybody at Oswego.
This school just opens the world to you. Have the opportunity to explore and to learn so many different things, not only about yourself, but the people around you and the world.
It definitely is about the student. I felt it to be very about me. Now that I'm here, I can't imagine myself anywhere else.
Everybody can make something because I think everyone has a spark of creativity, and the reason that I have to keep making is because I don't think my life would be as fulfilling without it. If you make things yourself, that means you're not cowering in fear. You're out there taking chances. That, I think, is my way of saying I love you to the world. All right, now I want to hear why you make.
Share your own Why I Make story today. Visit whyimake.org.
David Richey. I mean, they were. Do you think Bryce Humphrey, Tommy John survivor, Nathan Evaldi?